Hey everybody, it's time for T-shirt on the team. T-shirt on the team. T-shirt on the team. T-shirt on the team. How's everybody doing? Happy Sunday. I hope your weekend was amazing. Mine was. My son turned 7 yesterday, so I'm kind of like in my feelings about it a little bit because I don't want my little baby to grow up on me. If you guys have watched my pregnancy video blogs and my mommyhood diaries, which I think I'm gonna bring back, I just don't know when, but my baby's not a baby anymore. He's a young man, and I don't know how I feel about that, but anyway, that's a story for another time. Let's get into marriage medicine. Tonight's episode was good. Jocelyn Hernandez made a guest appearance. I will talk about that in a bit. So it starts off with Jackie and Curtis, and they're starting already. They're going through the new house with the architects or whatever, and the architects are these property sisters who are good with I guess renovating homes or whatever for I guess good prices. So Jackie is saying what renovation she wants to the house. She wants like to make everything bigger and wider. Like the bedroom is too narrow. She wants to have a 2-story closet, possibly a chandelier in the closet, which I think is dumb, but no. She wants a bigger office. She wants like a more elongated countertop for when she hosts parties and stuff. So she's asking for all of these things, and the property sisters are like, you know, this is gonna cost dollars, right? What's your budget? So Curtis is like, well, we have to keep in mind our budget or whatever. And you know, Jackie's like, oh, you know, you can't put a price tag on your happiness. I'm like, yeah, you can't put a price tag on your happiness, but you got to be realistic, because sometimes you're going to have to, you know, you're going to have to compromise your happiness or whatever. Like, yeah, you want what you want, but right now, if you got to get what you can afford as far as renovations go. Not to say that you can't ever have the renovation that you want at any point in your life, but if right now y'all are just buying a house and then y'all plan on gutting it out and renovating it, yeah, you got to stay within your means or whatever. So I don't feel like Curtis was being a Debbie Downer. I felt like he was being a realist or whatever, and Jackie is just like, well, I want this and I want that and I want this, but it's gonna cost money to get all these fabulous things that you want. So now we get to Contessa, and she's having a picnic with her children, and they're catching up. She's asking them about homework. She's asking them about how school is, and she feels guilty about the fact that she's in Nashville at school or whatever, that she's away from the kids. And the kids, you can clearly see that they miss her. Like, they miss her a lot. So, her oldest daughter, Lauren, is stressed out about homework. Like, she gets frustrated or whatever. You know, she said that her dad helps her, and he's a really good helper. But it's just that she gets frustrated with homework. Nobody's fault. It's just a kid thing. All kids get stressed out about homework, especially if it's something that they're constantly doing, and they're trying, like, their brains are trying to process it to how you're saying it. So that's why you gotta work with kids, and you gotta see how they work or whatever. See what works for them. So Contessa is like, she feels like Scott should be better at emotionally supporting the kids, and it's like, well, you don't know if he's emotionally supporting the kids because you're in Nashville for half of the week, and I'm pretty sure he's doing the best that he can being a working dad and dealing with 3 kids while you're away at school. Like, you got to give the man some credit. Most men would have threw in the towel and be like, all right, I'ma just leave y'all to it, bump this, when your mother get here she could deal with it. No, Scott is actually trying to hold down the fort, and I applaud him. He's actually doing a damn thing, waking them up for school. You know, everything that Contessa does, he's doing. Like I've said in old reviews, he's a Mr. Mom. Not to say that he's not a good dad, and you know that Contessa's a better parent than him. We just know that mothers are way more nurturing than fathers are. Fathers have their own way of parenting, the ones that want to be in their children's lives, I must say. But I'm saying fathers have a different way of parenting than mothers do. Mothers are way more nurturing. We are way more emotionally invested than fathers are. Fathers are more like chin up, man up, be macho, be this, but they play around with their kids and they show love in their own way. So if I was Contessa, I wouldn't say that he's not emotionally supportive of the kids. He just supports them in a way that's different than how you support them. So I felt like she kind of worded that wrong, and I feel like that's why Scott is feeling the way he does about her, like a little bit of resentment, because some of the things that she's been saying this season, I haven't really liked it. Like, I feel like she don't give him credit, or I don't feel like she's supporting him and what he does as far as holding down the fort while she's away. But I digress. That's just my opinion. So Scott arrives or whatever, and she asked the kids, how do you feel about me being in Nashville? And the kids are saying that they're sad about her being there. Hate yawning on camera. I hate it. I'm gonna learn the art of not yawning on camera. The funny part is I'm not even that friggin' tired. I actually got sleep today, but I guess because it's the nighttime and my body's like, you need to wind down. So I apologize. Forgive me for yawning on camera. Because it's hard to edit out. And then I don't want to edit it out because it's me. It's me. So, yeah, the kids are like, they're sad about her being in Nashville. And the youngest baby, Layla, she said, sometimes I forget about you. I'm like, oh, that'll break my heart if my child said that to me or whatever. But, she's like, she doesn't feel supported by Scott. Again, I feel like Contessa is being too hard on Scott when Scott is doing what he's doing the best that he can. I don't feel like Contessa supports Scott, honestly. I don't feel like it's the other way around, because he's supporting you enough to where he's like, nah, baby, I got the house. I'm going to hold the house down so that the kids don't be uprooted. You go, you follow your dreams. I feel like the man is being as supportive as he can. It's a lot of stress on everybody in that house. So Contessa's being a little bit selfish. So now we get to the juicy part of the show. Simone's friend Buffy is having this party called Fab and Frugal. And the party is pretty much a thing where everybody who comes there, not common folk like myself, but everybody that comes there, they have on outfits. Everything that they have on is under $500. If I was invited to this party, I would have won. If they was giving out prizes, I would have won. Because if anybody know how to be frugal, honey, tis I, okay? Rainbow, Ashley Stewart, Fashion the Figure, okay? Them my 3 stores right there. When Payless was open, Payless, honey, them BOGO sales, listen, frugal t-shirt right here. So, Jackie and Heavenly are discussing their outfits. Oh, was it Jackie and Heavenly? I don't remember. But was it Jackie and Heavenly or Jackie and Quad? I can't remember who was in the car with who. But Jackie's outfit was like $93. Simone's outfit was $150. Toya was getting ready for the party, and she's like, I've never heard of a party being, frugal and whatever. Atlanta, we live in Atlanta, and Atlanta is very over the top. People spend money or whatever. So, me going to a frugal party is hard. Toya is the one that loves to spend money. She just money, which is not a bad thing, If you got it, do it. So, Heavenly and Quad were together, and I think Heavenly's outfit, what she had on was like $183 or something like that, and Quad had on like a whole outfit. I think the dress plus the shoes was $212. While Heavenly and Quad are in the car, they're discussing the talk with Simone, and Quad said that she feels like Simone didn't admit that she was mean at the crab boil or whatever, and Simone feels like Quad is a victim. I said the same thing. I said I feel like Quad always likes to nitpick and point the wrong that people have done to her, but she doesn't like to point out the stuff that she does to people. And there's been plenty of times where Quad has said and done things to hurt people's feelings, and she doesn't own up to it until people bring it to her and express how they feel, and they constantly say it. She'll keep switching it to make it out to her being the victim until she's like, all right, well, I apologize sincerely, we should move forward, blah blah blah. And then when something else happens, it's like a cycle. So it's like Quad wants Simone to apologize for the crab boil, which Simone apologized for and even extended an olive branch. It's like, why are we still talking about this? Because Simone wasn't the only one that is like, I don't want to say aggressive, because Simone was aggressive. She wasn't the only one that was aggressive with the whole situation with her divorcing her husband. The whole group felt the way because Quad shut everybody out. She didn't want to discuss. She didn't want to discuss it. Nothing. So, I think Simone said that if Quad were to say that she's sorry or whatever, she said it won't work because she feels like it's at this point it's beating a dead horse, which it is. How many times are we going to talk about the crab boil? How many times are we going to discuss the crab boil? It was over a year ago. Let it go, like Elsa says. So Simone revealed that Heavenly and her ended on a good note, and we're going to move forward with the whole Twitter thing, which I thought was good. So now we get to Buffy's house, and she has a house manager named Sonia. No, not Sonia, Sylvia. And Buffy has on a dress and shoes, which all equal $120. And I'm like, oh, so she got a house manager. That's how y'all do in Atlanta. So basically the house manager just takes care of the house. Kind of like a nanny, kind of like a housekeeper type of thing. It's a fancy way of saying housekeeper. So Mariah and Aiden arrive, and Mariah said she had on, I think her shoes were 280 euros, which equals 300 and something dollars or whatever in American dollars. I forgot how much the rest of her outfit was, but I do believe it was under 500. I think hers was like 482 or something like that. I don't remember. But Toya came and she had on a $452 outfit. She had on like a shirt, a nice blouse, some jeans, some heels, and some earrings, which all equal to $452. So Buffy introduces herself a little bit, and she's pretty much a tax heiress. She does like she has like a tax company, and it's like ran through her family. Her grandmother started it, and just pretty much she helped people with their taxes and stuff like that. And it's a generational thing. And she's like, she's not wealthy, but she is well off, you know, like they are comfortable, they're financially comfortable, which I think that that's way more better than being rich. Honestly, I would much rather be financially comfortable than be rich, because I feel like when you're financially comfortable, you don't have as many, you may have problems, but you don't have as many problems as you would being rich. You know, I think you have higher chances of more issues the richer you are, whereas if you're financially stable and you're able to just breathe and not have to worry about, okay, well, this bill got to be paid, that got, you know, I feel like it's better to be financially stable than it is to be rich. There's a difference. So, Quad and Simone hug, and Simone is like, well, I noticed a different energy from you, you know, today. So Quad is like, listen, when I came in at the meeting that we had the first time, I came in hurt. But I do want to work it out with you. I do want us to move forward. We will have a separate discussion about it later on, blah, blah, blah. So I'm glad they cleared that air. So now they're asking about Sylvia, and they're asking about Sylvia and how she's a house nanny and whatnot. And Mariah is like, listen, my mama was the nanny, the preacher, the mama, the father. She was the teacher. She was the counselor. She was everything. So yeah, I had a house manager too. I'm like, true. So now get to Sylvia being the house manager or whatever, and Heavenly got to come talking about some was the house manager, she takes care of the house, and Buffy's like, yeah, she takes care of the house, more specifically me and the dogs. And then here come Heavenly, but what about your husband? Buffy is like, listen, I know new tricks every single day. I'll take care of that. My husband be too tired to do anything else. So Heavenly is like, listen, just because you know all the tricks in the book don't mean he ain't smashing the house manager. I'm like, Heavenly, why you gotta take it there? But then you felt the way when Mariah was saying what she was saying about Damon sleeping with people. You don't like when people talk about your husband, but it's okay for you to talk about people's husbands, right? So now we get to the part where all the ladies are sitting around, and Buffy introduces Jocelyn Hernandez, baby, as her friend. And she says she's known Jocelyn for 5 years. Jocelyn is her client and her friend. So Jackie and Simone is they're asking Jocelyn about the baby, and Toya and everybody's like, well, how's the baby doing? How's motherhood treating you? And she's like, oh, the baby is wonderful, she's good. And they're like, I'm pretty sure she's a hothead like you. She's like, oh girl, she's worse. So they're asking about her birth, because she did film her birth, like her birthing story on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta before she left, and she did have a natural birth. She didn't have an epidural. I think she did it in a pool, and then she started in the pool, and then she gave birth, I think, on a bed or something like that, but she didn't have any drugs at all. She had no epidural, nothing. So they were asking her how it was, and she was like, I did it at a birthing center, and it was a natural birth, and it is what it is. I love being a mom. I take care of her. I do everything I'm supposed to do. So Toya is like, I get it, bonding with her, whatever. And like, being a mom is a full-time job. So Jocelyn is like, well, I don't really see it as a job. I just see it as being a mother. And Toya's like, no, it is being a mother. But she's like, being a mom is a full-time job. So Jocelyn is like, well, you could just continue living it up and not pay your taxes. And Toya is like, oh, okay, well, that situation that happened with me and my husband, it was actually a blessing in disguise, and it brought us closer. So maybe, one day you'll get to like experience something like that. Just be humble. So Jocelyn is like, well, you need to go change your clothes. You looking real thrifty or something like that. Thrifty is their child favorite. I think that's the number one word that she know. But I'm like, Jocelyn, don't act like this. Do not act like this, because I like you. But what you're not going to do is shade people for how they look, because, baby, we could all go to the archives and pull out season 1 you and them struggle braids you had. Okay? Okay. We could go to the archives. So don't do that, Jocelyn. Don't do that girl like that, because she wasn't coming for you. She was trying to have a bonding moment with you, and you were being really, really rude to her. So Mariah was like, nah, we're not going to do this. So her and Toya went to the bathroom. So while they're in the bathroom, Toya is like, yo, I don't even understand why she's coming at me. We were just having a conversation, but whatever. So Buffy felt bad and went in to check on Toya or whatever. And Toya is like, listen, my friends would never act like that. Like, I would never have a friend come at another friend like that. So, Toya felt away, and Buffy's like, listen, I can't control people and their words and their thoughts. I'm sorry. On behalf of her, I'm sorry. So then Eugene is coming looking for Toya, and he's like, yo, I just got into an argument with that ignorant girl too. So Toya's like, why? He's like, yo, we're at the bar, and she's talking about, oh, I just got into an argument with that thrifty hoe over there, something like that. So Eugene was like, well, you don't have to talk about my wife and call her a hoe. So he said, basically, Jocelyn said to him, F that hoe and F your Chaz too, or something like that. And I'm like, bruh. So Buffy was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. So at that moment, Buffy is caught in the middle of this, and Toya was like, we just gonna leave. So her and Eugene ended up leaving. So now we get to Toya and Mariah, and they're meeting up, talking about jury duty and whatnot. Toya said that she had jury duty. Mariah said that she's never been to jury duty. Mariah, how the hell you never been to jury duty? They gonna catch you just because you said that you gonna get a notice in the mail today. No, not today, because Sunday. You gonna get a notice in the mail tomorrow. They gonna be looking for you if you say you ain't never did jury duty, girl. So then they're discussing the party, and Toya's like, I really don't want to discuss the party, but whatever. She said she just felt like she doesn't want to move forward with Buffy because Buffy's not her friend to begin with. That's Simone's friend. So Toya's like, I just want to talk about positive stuff. I want to talk about the kids. I want to talk about my birthday coming up. And she said she wanted to do a small and intimate paint and sip with the ladies. So now we get to Contessa and Scott, and he's making breakfast for the kids and he has to run or whatever, so he took Layla and Landon to school, and Lauren stayed behind with Contessa and they're talking. So Layla said that pretty much, if you hear noise in the background, my kittens are playing in my room. They're a mess. But yeah, so they're discussing a situation where Lauren said that a boy threw a ball at her or whatever, and she threw it back in his face. And Contessa's like, well, why would you throw a ball back in his face? She's like, the boy irritates me. He's always doing things to me or whatever. So I threw it back. She's like, well, because somebody irritates you is no reason to throw a ball back in his face. Okay, teachable moment. Yes. However, comma, if a boy is bothering you, Lauren, you had the right to throw that ball in his face because he threw the ball at you and he ain't care about if it was going to hit you in the face or not. I'm sorry, I'm just one of those parents. I mean, I know you're not supposed to, you know, you're not supposed to do what people do. Well, you do unto others as you would want done to you. But in a moment like that, when it's a boy that's constantly bothering you or whatever, what I tell my kids is you go to an adult. You tell an adult what's going on, and if the adult does nothing to solve the issue, you handle it, because you went to the adult and you tried to be mature and tell the adult what's going on and they didn't listen. But I mean, I get where Contessa's coming from. But yeah, she said that she threw it back to his face. He irritates her, and she said when she's angry, she punches walls. So that kind of worries Contessa. So Contessa is like, well, why are you so angry? Like, what angers you? Do I anger you? And she's like, you anger me sometimes, but it's not, you know, it's not really you. So she's like, well, what about me angers you? She said, is it the fact that I'm away? And she's like, yeah, you know, you're away and I can't really, you're not home. And I just really want you here. I need you. So Contessa just feels guilt about being away from her kids. Like, she realizes that it's causing emotional distress or whatever, and she just has to ultimately make a decision on what she wants to do. So now we get to Toya sipping paint, and she's meeting the models and making sure the setup is good, and she doesn't want Buffy there, but we all know Buffy is coming. And she's turning 43, which was mind-boggling to me because I feel like Toya literally just had her 40th birthday party not long ago. So quiet and heavily on the phone with Contessa, and Contessa's like, bruh, I'm surprised I'm invited to the party. I'm looking for elephants to fly, and if they flying, we gonna look for Dumbo. And she's like, I'm shocked that Toya even extended an invite for me to come, because, you know, we had made it clear that we weren't friends. So they're like, listen, get dressed and we coming to get you. So, Quad, I love Quad. I love her dearly, but that blonde wig, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the blonde wig. Every other wig I could rock with. That blonde wig, honey, nah, nope, not at all. So, Mariah arrives and she has like a cake and some wine for Toya. And Jackie arrives and has a gift for Toya. And Toya's like, I told you guys no gifts. Why are you giving me gifts? You know, it's a birthday. They're your friends. They're going to hook you up or whatever. So just say thank you and keep it pushing, girl. So Carrie, season 1, Carrie comes. And, you know, Carrie still looks the same. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But Carrie still looks the same. So they have... they're having like a little conversation, and Toya just pretty much said that she pretty much invited people who've all had issues with each other or who all have had issues with her or whatever. So Carrie brings up the whole fight that Mariah and Quad had like 6 years ago. That was a terrible fight. That was a big, terrible fight, and it was pretty much the topic all season of season 1. I'm surprised Toya and Mariah made it through, because that was a nasty fight. I remember that fight. So, Heavenly arrives and Contessa gives her a hug, and they talk and they pretty much clear the air, whatever, and they're willing to give the friendship another try, which I thought was amazing, because Contessa and Toya have had the most static the past couple of seasons. So now Simone and Buffy arrive, And no, Simone and Buffy are on their way to the party, and Simone calls Toya on speakerphone, and Simone is like, yeah, we're on our way to the party, it's me and Buffy or whatever. So Buffy is like, hi Toya, I just want to say happy birthday. So Toya's like, thank you, mad dry or whatever. So I'm like, Lord, I don't know why she's so mad at Buffy. Like, I understand why she's mad at Buffy, but I don't think she should be so hard on Buffy with that situation, because Buffy cannot control people. Like, the most she could do is talk to Jocelyn. She can't control that girl. Nobody can control that girl in her mouth. Obviously, all of Atlanta know that, okay? So, Simone and Buffy finally arrive, and Toya is definitely still bothered with the Jocelyn situation. So, Toya goes to make her speech and is like, yeah, I really wanted something small and intimate, Simone. Pretty much throwing shade at the fact that Simone bought Buffy. So, Buffy is like a surprise guest. So she tells them that she wanted a small, intimate gathering for the simple fact that, she just recently went through a traumatic experience with having a miscarriage, and she just wants to get back to love and positivity and whatnot. So Buffy is like, I had no idea that you went through that. I'm really sorry. So Contessa also says in the confessional, like, I had no idea either. God bless her. I feel for her, and I want to be there for her. So now they start the paint and sip, and the models come out or whatever. So Heavenly is sitting there like, I got a son that's y'all age. But at the same time, she drooling. Okay, so she's like, listen, I'm not telling Daddy about this. So Toya's like, listen, if you're single, or you're married, or you plan to not get married, or you're thinking about ending your marriage, come oil them up. I'm like, Toya, you trying to end some marriages tonight. But it pretty much ended there with Heavenly talking about, I'm not telling Daddy about this. I'm just not. I'm like, Heavenly, bye. You at a paint and sip. It's a girls' night. Live and let live. If you feel guilty, then tell the man about it. It ain't like you cheating. You having fun. It ain't no different than a guy going to a strip club. Honestly, it's the same thing. But this was a pretty cool episode. I didn't like how Jocelyn came at Toya. I feel like she came hard at that girl for no reason. And then I was watching the Watch What Happens Live that came on after, and Heavenly said that she felt like the whole thing with Jocelyn was a setup. Like, she felt like it was a setup from the gate, because Toya's the only person that Jocelyn came for. She ain't come for nobody else. And I'm like, who knows? But I'm pretty sure that'll be brought up at some point or whatever. But this was a pretty good episode, and next week look like it's gonna be a good episode too, because Damon finds out about the sipping paint and the naked models or whatever. But y'all tell me how y'all felt about this episode. Please like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to 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 tell a friend about t-shirt on the tube, t-shirt on the tube, t-shirt on the tube, t-shirt on the tube. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Later.